Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 2021 Knife of the Year. Now, keep in mind, even as somebody who uploaded twice a day, every single day of this year, literally I did not miss a single day, I still was not able to get my hands on every last knife that came out in 2021. So this list is missing some obvious candidates, but the truth is that they just weren't able to get to me before the end of the year. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on the best stuff that I actually handled. And if there's something that's not on this list, one of two things is happening. Either I handled it and I didn't like it, or at least not enough for it to be on this list, or I haven't handled it yet. So keep that in mind. I'm going to do this similarly to how Nick Shabazz does it, or I think how he does it. I'm going to do the budget category, then I'm going to do the mid-range category, and then I'm going to do the high-end category. I'm going to tell you guys which I think are the best knives of each category, and then I'm going to choose one of those three knives to be Knife of the Year. I think that's how he does it. I watched one where he did it like that, and I thought that's a nice way to do that. So I guess I'm stealing it from Nick Shabazz. Thank you very much, Nick Shabazz, for doing it that way and setting a good example. I think that's the right way to do it. Also, keep in mind, the knives that make it to this video every year, they are not restricted by availability. I said that last year. I said it the year before. I'm going to say it again this year. I know that makes people mad, but sorry. If I really like it, it doesn't really matter if it's available or not, right? Things become available again down the road. Usually, sometimes they don't. It just is what it is. I want to give the award to, what my gut goes with. But I think you guys will still be happy with the selections here. So anyways, thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. There's a link for Patreon right down below. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Some of these knives I still have, and some of them I don't. I have definitely got physical reviews of all these knives. So some of them might be seeing pictures of or video footage. I'll do my best. I give a lot of stuff away. I give a lot of stuff as gifts. So first off, let's start off here with the budget category. We're going to talk about the three knives that made it into this section are going to be the Civivi Cogent, the button lock, the Miguron Knives Velona, which I've actually got right here, and then finally the CJRB Scoria. We're going to kind of move right along because this is not a review. CJRB button lock, holy moly, that thing was fantastic. Now it's right on the line of what I consider to be a budget knife at just shy. I think, what is it, 70 bucks, right? 75 or less on this channel is what I consider a good budget knife. Great materials, 14T28N, G10, right? But the most impressive thing is the button lock flipper combination and the profile of the knife. Everything was just so good. This was my, best budget knife. If you guys watched that upload, my top 10 favorite budget knives of all time, that was my favorite. And I guess that's kind of ruining it here, but that's kind of why I'm starting off with this category, starting off with the Cogent here. The Velona is great. One of the best, in terms of value for what you're getting here. The steel, the G10, the titanium pivot collar, what I assume is titanium, might be another material. In any case, titanium on the pocket clip. This thing is just wonderful, right? Same thing with the CJRB Scoria, AR RPM 9 powder form steel. We've got the contoured micarta. We've got the titanium, right? It's real nice. All of these are excellent. They easily make this list. But the Cogent, like I said in that most recent best budget knives of all time video, the Cogent is just the clear winner. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't like button locks, right? Well, that's fine, but that button lock, a lot of people place it in a strict fidget factor category, but that button lock really is ultra utilitarian. That thing is just straightforward, easy to use. The fit and finish on this thing was excellent. The steel choice is excellent. The Civivi Cogent is absolutely the best budget knife of 2021. And in my opinion, it's the best budget knife of all time if, you use the same parameters as me, and that's $75 or less. So Civivi Cogent, definitely the winner of the first category. Oh, this next category, this mid-range category, was tough. Really tough. Some of my favorite stuff, and you guys are thinking, what does he mean by mid-range? It's foggy. Just go along with me here. We have, of course, the Demco 80 20.5 with the legendary shark lock. This is the production Taiwan version. Then we have, of course, the TW Price Designs prototype the Dawn. A lot of people might be saying, you can't do that, it's a prototype. Yes, I can. There it is. Moving on, we've got another prototype that you guys have not seen the review for yet, but I was absolutely blown away by this thing. I'm not even sure you've seen the unboxing for this yet. And that is the Null Knives Raiden. These are being made by Riot. This is also a prototype, but let me tell you guys, this thing is ready to go. In this form, it is absolutely ready to go. This is a wonderful, wonderful knife. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the WE Knives and Ray Laconico Esprit, which really came out of left field for me because, you know, WE Knives and Ray Laconico, two entities that I've been kind of bored with lately, but hey, they came together and it's like, wow, this is really good, right? So, fantastic. Let's start off here with the Demco 80 20.5. I know a lot of people are going, the materials. Yeah, everybody knows. There's no one left to inform, right? We all wish that the Demco 80 20.5 was not in Drivery and OS 10A. Now, I gotta be honest with you. If this thing was in G10 and 154 CM, I mean, at least 150, just that right there, it'd take the cake, right? That's really all it would take for me. Now, the rest of the knives that I've got, you know, laid out or displayed here right now, they're fantastic. But I can't deny the Demco 80 20.5 would take it with slightly better materials. And I know that people still want to argue with me for that. I don't care. That's all it would take here. But I can't. Yeah, like, I understand. I get it. Small batch, small operation. They're doing what they can, right? A lot of people, we're going to argue and teeter-totter up and down. I think we're lucky to even, you know, have this in 2021. I think that better materials are probably coming down the road. Expect higher prices, right? But this was really good. I was pretty happy with this for 2021, but not gonna cut it, you know, for best of the best in the mid-range. The Dawn. This knife would take it if I knew what the final form of it felt like, right? I can include the prototype and some of my favorite stuff for the mid-range. I can't give it to the Dawn because I know that there are things that he plans to change. There are things that I nitpicked in the review. Very, very nearly, a perfect knife. There's a lot of elements here that make me think Sebenza, but just upgraded, right? And then we have some cool aesthetic elements. We have some nice machine work. These are done by Best Deck, as far as I remember. Hand rub satin finish. Really nice placement of everything. And, you know, this guy's 20. This was his first design. Easily one of the coolest things I've seen in 2021. Now, if I was handling the final production version and those little things that I was, you know, nitpicking, if they were fixed, this would be a done deal. That thing's awesome, but I don't know, you know. So the prototype's here. It's a contender, but I can't, you know, it can't be number one in this category. The Raiden, you guys haven't seen the review for this thing yet. Man, these are Riot made. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I know that this is not the final production form, but this thing's ready to go. I mean, if the gentleman behind Null Knives is watching right now, this guy is ready to go as it sits, in my opinion. If he's still going to improve or alter it in some small way, then okay, power to him, but this is wonderful. Still, though, this is a prototype that has yet to see its final production form, so I'm hesitant to give it to this knife. Almost by technicality, which is going to frustrate some people. People who say, go with your gut. I am going with my gut, right? It's my gut. Let me worry about it. I do like the WE Esprit. There's a couple of things that bothered me. Number one, the finish on the blade. I'm sick of satin finishes. Come on, this just looks better, right? I mean, I know not everybody's going to agree with me, but look at this. The finish on the Raiden here. Oh, God, that is just beautiful. The satin finishes, to me, just really are starting to look cheap. They also don't look as good over time after you use the knife, right? So, the Laconico and WE Esprit, really, really nice knife. Don't like the finish on the blade. Would have looked 10 times better with a nice semi-reflective tumbled finish. And the other thing, don't like those stamped out clips. 3D machined pocket clips, right? 3D machined titanium pocket clips, again, like we're seeing here on the Raiden. But the WE Laconico, it is in its final form. And there are a lot of, and I want to say final form, the production, it's like openly available in its final production variant, unless they do a V2. That nice orange peel texturing, which is something we almost never see on a production knife. The size, the ergonomic lines, right? The materials are all great. The price was even really good. I thought the price was pretty good, right? So almost by technicality, but there is still, you know, like I want to emphasize this. It really is still a fantastic knife, right? But if I was looking at the final version of the Dawn, right, and I was looking at the final version of the Raiden, the Oui Esprit would almost be an immediate third. So it's kind of a technicality. We're all just going to have to deal with it, right? And also, just remember, you're watching the Metal Complex Knife of the Year Award. I don't take myself that seriously. You shouldn't either. This isn't really that serious. It's just a guy saying what he likes at the end of the year, right? You like whatever you want. As far as 2021 goes officially, for me on this channel, mid-range, it's going to go to the Oui and Laconico Esprit. A fantastic knife for sure. Moving on here to the final category, and that is the high end. Oh, the dreaded high end. This is all the fancy, expensive stuff. You know, truthfully, like my isotope does belong in high end because this is a much more expensive knife. But the isotope that I'm going to be referring to is going to be the standard one, not the one with the Damascus inlay. It's going to be the micarta inlay. I think those came at, what did they come in at? $500, something like that, which you could call the tippy top of the mid-range, or maybe 100 past the mid-range. I don't know. Maybe it is just, it's well into the high. I don't know. I'm gonna call that, we're gonna call the isotope, whether you're talking about the micarta version or my Damascus version, we're gonna call it the high end, right? Of course, have to include the Hawk Deadlock Model C. My goodness. Oh my goodness, this thing is just fantastic. And then finally, the Shogorov Russian Overkill, which is, I'm sure, you know, it's already ignited fury. That thing is well over $2,000 and you can't get it. It's one of the greatest things that I've handled in 2021, and it's also one of the, honestly, it's one of the greatest knives I've ever handled, right? Now, that being said, you cannot get, no one can get that, right? Let's start this off right. It is definitely in my favorites, right, for the video, right? It's like I said at the beginning, just because it is absolutely unavailable. And I don't mean like it's out of stock everywhere. I mean like it is gone and buried. It is not on this planet. It's something that exists in another dimension at this point, right? Just because you can't get it doesn't mean that it's not going to qualify for this video. But can it qualify for overall best of the high end? Nah, it can't. It just can't. Like it's why? It's just the barriers in my head. It's just not going to let it do that. The isotope is a knife that I very, very much love. This is mine. I paid for it. I would have paid for a less expensive version if that's what was available to me. This is M390 Damascus. One of the most impressive things is that this is done by Bestech, and in my opinion, this is Bestech's best work. It is almost indistinguishable from Riyadh, other than the detent feeling. This has a little bit of a thud and less of a click, which is something that I more often get with Riyadh, more satisfying click. But everything else about this knife was machined wonderfully, and it's an integral. Very, very, very fantastic. This is the Vero, if I didn't say Vero Engineering isotope. I do love this knife. I think it's definitely one of the nicest knives of the high end. You know, and these Damascus ones, as far as I understand, there are only 9 of them. So, but the standard ones, I think you can still find them sometimes on the secondary market. And I'm almost certain that there will be more of these in the future. I think the isotope was very, very popular. I would guess it was. But yeah, I mean, it's really fantastic. It's just not quite at this level. It really has to be, it's really got to be perfect. I really wanted that detent to just be that snap click, right? I also really did not want to see this screw right here. The pocket clip I thought was a bit long, and it's got a bit of a gooseneck bill, right? Outside of that, it's really great. Really, really fantastic. But there were definitely some nitpicks there. I think Joseph Vero is a fantastic designer, right? And I might be able to critique this, but I would never be able to create it. Truthfully, the clear winner here, and I mean that, it's a clear winner. Best of the high end is the Hawk Deadlock Model C. There is literally nothing about this knife that I would change. Yes, They're very hard to get. Yes, they're very expensive. These start off at about $1,000. $1,000, you can get a Microtech for it. You can, but a Microtech's not built the same way. Oh, but it cuts the same. Yeah, it probably does, but it's not built the same way. Oh, but the materials, yeah, but it's not built the same way. This takes more time, more energy, more human interaction, right? These are created by a smaller entity, a smaller organization. More handwork. These blades are hand ground. But I don't value those things. Then you should go buy a Microtech. These are facts, what I'm telling you here. These types of objects, there's a difference in the feeling. You pick this up, you feel it. Huge difference. I love my Microtech Ultratech, but it's not, oh God, it is not the same thing as the Deadlock. I named the Deadlock the king of OTFs, and I mean that. The Deadlock is the king of OTFs as far as I'm concerned. It's also a perfect design. I mean, it truly, there's nothing that I would change about this. I mean, okay, for the sake of just being a nitpicky reviewer. I wish the carbon fiber was slightly less reflective, but that's a personal thing, right? The switch, the shape of it, right? How easy it is to actuate, ergonomic lines on the handles. This version is so much more balanced. I mean, I love titanium, guys, but the Model B just wasn't nearly as well balanced. This is way, way better in the balance department. Edges all nicely knocked down, chamfered correctly. We've got Torx hardware. We've got this nice titanium insert here that's got some texturing on it. We have this awesome pocket clip. Oh my gosh, that's so cool how it does that. Titanium, right? Fully 3D milled. Wonderful. Truly custom. It's truly a custom knife, right? King of the OTFs and definitely the best high-end knife of 2021. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and do this here real quick. We have the budget champion. That's the Civivi Cogent. We have the mid-range champion, which is the Wii Esprit. And then we have the high-end champion, at least on my channel, and that's the Hawk Deadlock Model C. So these are the three best in class, I guess. I don't know. I just feel weird doing this. So which one's the best? What's the true knife of the year? Well, I can tell you guys right now, it's not going to be the Esprit. Right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, this is automatically whichever is the most expensive. There's more that goes into it than that. It really took me a bit to, think about exactly, between the Cogent and the Hawk Deadlock Model C. The Cogent is really excellent for its class. That's the thing, is it's not like which is the most expensive. No, that has hardly anything. It has almost nothing to do with it. In fact, it doesn't have anything to do with it, right? It's how well was the knife designed for its parameters, the class of knife that it is, the caliber, right? How well was the Cogent designed as, in my opinion, a budget knife, right? In the under $75 territory, almost perfectly. You guys know I don't like Civivi's clips. The knife was perfect in almost every other aspect, right? There are aesthetic changes that any of us could make, right? But I don't want to count out for aesthetic changes, but functionally, I just don't like their pocket clips. It was really, really good. I also, even though it really is, I think, pretty darn good for the money, I think Civivi has been creeping up in price, and I think they used, in this case, the button lock situation to just sort of excuse themselves from a $20 price increase on this thing. This doesn't feel that much different than, a lot of the stuff that I thought was kind of overpriced at $50 or $55. I think they probably could have scooted by at $55, but I think it's a bit high, right? The Cogent, though, truly excellent. Absolutely the best budget knife, or at least the best knife under $75, right, if we want to split hairs. But I don't think it was quite as good as what the Model C brought to the table. And I know that's going to frustrate a lot of people. He's going to pick a $1,000 OTF that even if we had the money, we can't just run out and buy. Sorry, you were not promised that at the beginning of this video. I made it very clear. Just because it's unavailable does not mean there's, this video, this upload does not, there's no responsibility. There's no foundation of responsibility in catering to individuals for availability, right? If that all comes together and makes sense. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. I mean, I'm going with my gut. I'm giving you guys my honest thoughts, right? And if you're here watching my channel, you probably want what I honestly think. You don't want me to tell you what you want to hear. You want me to be honest with you. That's what I'm doing here. So while this is a $1,000 and very hard to get OTF, it is still an obtainable object, as they plan to do more of these. In fact, I believe that was the reason behind the aluminum frame for the Model C. It makes them easier to machine, especially in larger quantities, right? So, on top of that, I'm honestly kind of shocked these are only $1,000. Had they charged, and that's what I think they come in initially, I think the price direct from them is about $1,000. If they come in at $1,200 or even $1,300, I think $1,200, I'd be like, yeah, that makes good sense, right? $1,000, considering what this is, right? Again, this is a custom knife. It doesn't matter if it cuts the same way as your Milwaukee Fastpack, right? It takes more to create, right? There's more time and energy that goes into this. This was a perfect design. It's very rare that I get something. If you look back, if you go back, those of you who have watched, I mean, I don't know if you really have, but there are people who have told me I've watched every single one of your reviews. Maybe one other time have I ever said this is a perfect knife, right? It's extremely rare that I say this is a design that I would not change anything about. Again, I don't take myself that seriously, so you shouldn't either. But I mean that. The double ground blade, perfect. Not only aesthetically perfect, but I think, honestly, the blade itself is perfect. Switch, position, shape, perfect. Inlay work, perfect. Handle shape, ergonomic lines, perfect. Clip position, material, aesthetics, perfect. I got a thing for symmetry, which this thing nailed as well. 2021 Knife of the Year is the Hawk Deadlock Model C, and I am more than happy to give. I mean, honestly, this was the greatest thing that I handled in 2021 by quite a bit. It really is. I mean, I don't have any argument with the materials, the aesthetic, right? The only thing that sucks is the availability. But hey, you know what? If they could, make 10,000 of them and sell 10,000 of them, I'm sure they'd do it. They're just not, two-man operation as far as I understand. They can't do that. So they're trying to make more. But yeah, Hawk Deadlock Model C, that was pretty easy for me. 2021 Knife of the Year overall. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I honestly don't like doing these type of knife awards videos because there were like 50 other knives that I really wanted to talk about, and I can't because you have to, for whatever reason, we've all decided you have to reduce this to like 9 or 10 knives, right? So, if you thought that there was something that should have made the list that was really close based on something I said, rest assured, it probably almost did, right? Or maybe it didn't. Maybe I just didn't like it as much, right? It is what it is. Moving on to 2022, I'm sure we'll be, thoroughly impressed with what 2022 brings to the table. Thanks again for watching. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.